Today I'm speaking with Rich Latimer, frontman of the band Very Unique Existence. Formed in 2004, the band has come a long way with its positive consciousness rock genre, continually striving to fulfill its motto, music changes people, people change the world. Thanks for joining us, Rich.
Cheers, thank you, Courtney.
Now, firstly, tell me a little bit more about this self-titled genre, positive consciousness rock. What does that mean to you? What are you hoping to achieve with your music?
So that was a way of putting into words, or a categorisation for us that kind of encompassed the fact that we wanted to deliver music with positive messages, positive lyrics, and then try to do even a bit more as a band, maybe within local community and whatnot, and sort of set up a intention for our, the vibe of the band.
Sure. So what were some of your earlier tracks? What sort of messages were they encompassing?
Well, we had songs around self-awareness stuff. We've got a track called Looking Down, which is kind of a track around gaining a perspective on your life, decision making, and really understanding decisions that you're making from a sort of an external or looking down type perspective. Yep. Which people really connected and resonate with that. Then there was a track about sort of self-esteem, which in that particular context was connected to a bullying and related stuff, which is called Take It Easy, which you know because you were inside the film clip.
Yes, I was many years ago.
Yeah. So, and and that track still does that same job of kind of connecting people to the stories around that. It's delivered usually with stories. So, so that's just some. There's a myriad, pretty much all of the material that's been written for the band, and as a songwriter solo as well, sort of is approached in that way.
Definitely. Well, it's good to see that you're spreading the positive energy throughout your music. Now, with your latest album, Hear the Heart, there's a track on there that I know is very close to your heart, the track Heart's Embrace. Now, tell me a little bit more about how that song came to be. What was driving that song?
Yep. That song was a sort of a co-collaboration between myself, the keyboard player at the time, Wesley Seawold, and a dear friend, Ellie, and that was the co-contributors towards the lyrics, chords and music. And the catalyst for the song being created was a drink driving accident that my 17-year-old brother was involved in, and where three of them were in the vehicle and two critically sort of injured, one passed away. My brother was admitted into Nepean ICU in Sydney with extremely severe head injury and not given a lot of chance to live or recover, obviously. And this song was an emotional response to that. The chords came from Wes because unfortunately 9 months before he'd lost a friend in exactly the same way. So he just had a chord progression that resonated. My friend Ellie wrote some words that, were like a prayer or a gift, to me and the family. And when I heard the chords and read the words, it's just something happened. The melody, the song just came to life, and I started to sing this song over and over and over and over again, relentlessly, to my brother while he was in the coma, with a firm knowing that he would be like a miracle, to be honest, and that's what happened. Yeah.
Wow. So how long was he in the coma for?
He was in the coma for nearly 9 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, and then even when he came out of that, he still went into, not, you wouldn't say recovered 100%, he and could have stayed there, but so it was maintaining that sort of knowing or faith all the way through all that, and he ended up to make basically 100% recovery, and and comes and does shows with me sometimes, and now just moved near me and studying music, and
Fantastic. Well, I guess that really does show the power that music can have.
Yeah, Yeah, well, I mean, obviously there was all the things. There was, you know, the medical treatment, everything like that. But one interesting thing about the song was singing it to him repeatedly, with an intention from myself. We're able to see things like brain pressures dropping at times. I was able to observe things such as movements within his body and things that weren't scientifically possible. And you know, even the nurses would demonstrate and explain to me, you know, and the head of neuroscience for Australia, actually, me and him had some pretty deep, meaningful conversations. But yeah, so things that you couldn't explain were happening, including in the very depth of the coma, at a time where we thought we might lose him, and I'd been singing the song. I actually needed to stop because he was going to go through some process they were going to do with him to change something over, and it was a scary process. And I had been singing to him for quite a while, and I could feel like the song, sort of like the song opens up a connection because of the vibration of the music. And I said to him about giving him my guitar if he didn't die, you know, sort of like that kind of, it was like this brotherly thing, like, you know. And yeah, months and months and months later, in one of his counselling sessions or whatnot, he remembered this sentence that I spoke into his ear. Yeah, clearly, exactly word for word. So there was, it's almost like there was some like actual factual proof as well, not just the feel good of that he, you know, was a miracle and that I was playing, but there was a few kind of connecting things.
Connecting things along the way. What a dramatic experience to have gone through, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Now, since then, you've started doing these awareness shows as a solo performer. Now, so far you've performed in schools throughout Australia, in the US, Canada, and also New Zealand. Was this experience and the Track Hearts Embrace a driving force for starting these shows?
Yep. So coming out of that and with his recovery, my music career shifted pretty much at that point. Very Unique Existence, we were, you know, had a top 20 in Australia, and the new album was on the way, and I just felt really compelled to do more with our music than just play to audiences who had bought the album or listened to us on radio, saw us on TV and festivals and things. And the idea was born, you know, to maybe try to influence some positive decision making initially around this issue, but has then just naturally, it's almost like my whole life and songwriting career was designed for this because of all the experiences I've been through. That was a very powerful experience, but one of a number of powerful experiences through my life, which music has always been. So yeah, that song, an ICU ward version of that, just like an acoustic thing, got on YouTube, and then I was taken to America and toured around high schools by a large educational institution over there, and playing to like 2,500 people at a time, and just watching how powerful music is at communicating. It's amazing, you know. And Awareness Shows was born 3.5 years ago, and it's become what, you know, we did it for the first year as the band, you know, just the full rock show touring around high schools, which was really cool as well. And we do that from time to time now, but a lot of solo stuff. So Hearts Embrace was kind of gave me the faith in music, that music is powerful enough and tangible enough to create real change and have real communication connection. And so with that faith, and belief in music, I was able to move forward and see the results that I've seen now.
And what sort of issues are you aiming to educate students on when you go to these, when you perform these awareness shows?
Social, emotional, environmental topics, and it's growing. You know, I will no longer be the only awareness artist. You know, I've just started to recruit other artists, a couple of amazing, incredible artists. So the vision is that it will be like Awareness Records. It'll be, you know, artists will come that aren't satisfied with the commercial tract and with what that's giving them, and will want to be doing something different with their music. This awareness shows will be a vehicle for that.
Fantastic. And what sort of response have you received from the shows you've performed so far?
Just, you know, overwhelming, amazing stuff, you know, like really immediate change has happened at many of the shows, you know. So we're talking like direct reach outs around like suicide and abuse and a whole heap of things, and you know, like young people making a decision inside the concert to change whole massive life issues sort of and get help right then and there or thereafter the show. And you know, some pretty amazing things, you know, and we're still in touch with, you know, we've got the whole social media thing where they connect and we give them resources, and you know, we don't just sort of come in and sing everything will be great and get some help and leave. We've got like a whole social media thing, and there's a peer sort of support element to it now, and follow-up things as well within the program. So the results are just getting better and better and better, and enough to, you know, keep you motivated to go to the next show and do it.
Definitely. And why do you think that music is such a good way to communicate with young people? It seems to be having really good effects. Do you think that young people take to the music and take the messages on board better that way?
Yeah, the shows are a mixture of real world storytelling dialogue and then the songs connected. I'm currently in discussions with some amazing people around the world who are on the cutting edge of like neuroscience and you know, because I want to get the research and the science behind things as well. But yes, they love music, they're connected to music, and they feel it. Really, to be honest, that's kind of what it is. You know, I can be a great speaker as well, and I can evoke emotion and do the whole thing, but nothing compares to when they feel the song. Like, you know, I'm talking like the chords and the vibrations of the music, the whole thing sort of adds up to drive that message really deeply and actually get them to kind of integrate it, you know. And it doesn't mean that, you know, every single person's sitting there completely like, you know, but the way it is that for those who need it, and then the others get kind of like, they just get a really good way to absorb some of these messages and things, and a unique delivery message, you know. Like, that's one of the things we get from them, is just like they're happy to have something different in the high school, you know. It's something different. They get to learn really powerful things that are curriculum linked. This is all linked to curriculum in a unique, different way, and then engage them with social media, which they love. So that's kind of the responses from them about that.
Fantastic. Now, you just mentioned social media, which is obviously another large point of interest for young people. How do people get in contact with you if they'd either like to get involved or even like to make a booking for their own school?
Primarily for bookings and whatnot, just through awareness-shows.com, which is like 3 S's in the middle. And then on Facebook, there's Awareness Shows, and within Facebook, there's a group called the Awareness Warriors, or Awareness Warriors, not the, and that's a growing peer support network for young people who have been at awareness shows, and now beyond that, who are sort of cross-supporting each other, you know, with cyberbullying, and it's a safe place to go and talk to others that have been through things. And also, we release a blog once or twice a week. We have a blog writer, qualified blog writer, writes across these topics, who's just released an amazing book around suicide prevention. And so this information as well is given through there. So basically on Facebook, and then there's an iPhone app. If you just Very Unique Existence or Rich Latimer, there's an free iPhone app which has got all the music, all the blogs, everything as well in the one app.
Fantastic. All right, well, it's been great speaking with you today, Rich. Thanks very much for joining us. And if you'd like to know more about the awareness shows, just go to awareness-shows.com.